Alright, so I got a question. Want to ask it through video format from Barron. He says, I enjoy deadlifting. I would do it every workout, though I'm worried about effing myself up if I go too heavy every session. I'm currently building up to 405. Right now, I'm at 365 pounds for a 1 rep max. A very respectable 1 rep max. When you're approaching the 400, it's pretty surprising once you get the technique down how easy it is to get to 400. But you didn't say what your body weight was, so it's kind of hard to tell a good reference point. But what you're going to find, everything has to do with technique. You said you're curious to know what typical non-PR deadlift routine. Let me go ahead and just start with just a basic routine and kind of what I would go by. For someone who's just starting, who's just kind of getting used to the lift and doesn't do it frequently enough. I mean, that's really like with anything, you know, Olympic lifts, deadlifts, bench press, push-ups, running. If you want to become a marathon runner and you want to run a marathon, you're going to have to run a lot. You got to get a lot of miles in. And with deadlifts, it's the same thing. You're going to have to deadlift a lot. Now, that doesn't mean you have to deadlift heavy a lot, because your body can only take so much deadlifting heavy. But what I mean by deadlifting a lot, or running a lot, or repeating any type of exercise or any type of activity for lots of time, or for extended periods of time for lots of repetitions, is you really have to get your technique down. And finding a qualified coach is kind of one of the best ways to do it. I mean, if you're really obsessed like me and you watch my videos and you get into what I share, you'll probably learn a lot from me. But there's really nothing that you can do to replace a really good coach or a good eye. Look, I have over 10 years of experience with fitness and exercise, and I've been training professionally. Regular people, no pro athletes or anything like that, but I just train regular people that want to get in shape. And getting enough technique is really, really important. But when you start getting into kind of higher ranges, getting a good coach is going to help you considerably. And I'm actually thinking about getting a coach pretty soon here. Jesse Burdick, I don't know if you know him, he's friends with Mark Bell. His gym is not that far away from me, or it's down in Dublin. I'm in Concord where I work. And I want to get down there, just the time and money, kind of trying to figure things out. But kind of what I'm thinking of is, for you, is that you should deadlift heavy once a week, and you work with different variations. So on your days that you do that are heavier intensity, and when I say heavy can be anywhere from about 85% to 95%. So that's what I consider heavy. Or even let's just say 80%. Just let's say 80% is heavy. Okay, anything below 80% is going to be considered light or moderate. And you're going to work on different techniques, but you'll have one day where you'll just focus on heavy lifting. And when you do heavy lifting, you're usually staying within 5 reps, 3 to 5 reps, and you keep on working on 3 to 5 rep ranges. And until honestly, I don't think I would really mess with 3 reps very often. The reason why I wouldn't want you to do a bunch of 3 reps is because 3 reps will make it so that you don't get enough practice. It's cool to kind of do a 3 rep max to really push yourself and see what you can do for that day, but you kind of want to do something where you can get a good 5 reps, because that way you can get the motor pattern down with heavy weight. Essentially, one approach that I really like is that you focus on building yourself up so that your 5 rep max, you basically improve how well you do with 5 reps. And every week, you just focus on improving your 5 reps. And don't worry about 1 reps, don't worry about 2 reps, don't worry about 3 reps. And the reason for this is that you focus on technique. Like for me, with where I'm at in my deadlifting, I'm probably not going to attempt a 1 rep max. I always say this, I'm always say I'm not going to do it for like a month, but I usually can't help myself. But realistically, after that 500 pound rep challenge that I just did, I got 3.5 reps. If you saw it, I think I just posted it. I got to get those hips down. My form and technique is really off, and I know I can lift more weight. But then around that 455, 500 pound mark. All right, so there's my recommendation for you, Barron, for a lot of beginners out there. We'll focus on deadlifting heavy in the 80s and 90 percentiles of your 1 rep max. Focus on getting lots of reps in, 3 to 5 repetitions. I just say 3 because if you feel like your form is breaking down after 2 or 3, you should just stop and then either take a longer break or drop your weight. But stick with something that you can confidently do 5 with basically absolutely perfect form. And then each week you want to improve how well that gets. Don't rush. You don't want to rush this, because the more you go into the 90% of your 1 rep max, what is 90% of your 1 rep? 90% would be like around 330 or up, right? 330 pounds. If you mess with that number too much, you're just not going to be able to refine the technique and form to get those hips down, and keep good positioning, get good thoracic extension, and work your muscles in the way they're supposed to be worked. And then when you go for a PR, you can afford a little bit of form breakdown, because that's part of kind of how PRs work out to be for 1 reps. But as you're building and you're trying to improve yourself, really focus on just trying to improve that 5 rep max, or let's just say 6 rep max, but you only do 5 reps. And again, a part of this is just a lot to build technique. And then every single week, what you're going to do is you're going to try to improve that every single week. And you'll have one day where you'll do heavy. Heavy is, again, like I said, anywhere between about 80 to 85% of your 1 rep max. That would be about 300 pounds, maybe 295, doing sets of 5, something like that, if I had to guess. And then you work on building that up. You work on improving your 5 rep max each week. And then you have another day where you do technique work. You kind of focus on doing like half your 1 rep max, which in this case would be like 185 pounds maybe. And you do like sets of 5, working on technique, maybe do 3 sets of 5, 4 sets of 5. Just kind of build it in, depends on what else you're trying to train for and what you're trying to improve. And then you have another day, maybe you just do like 135, So that way you have 3 days a week where you're deadlifting, if you really want this goal of yours. This is something that I do. I actually do a little bit more frequent than this, but this is something that I do. And have basically one, if you want to look at it like this, 1 working day and kind of like 2 skill days. So that's just kind of the breakdown of it. And you allocate, the day that you deadlift heavy is going to take up a good majority of your time, because you're wearing yourself out and you're taking longer breaks, maybe 20 minutes, to deadlift all your sets, maybe longer, maybe less than 30 minutes for sure. And then the other 2 days where you do deadlifting for like a moderate weight, and then the light day skill day will take about maybe 10 minutes tops. So you're not really super heavy, you're just going over skill. And you do this every single week, refining your form. The emphasis is keeping your form. You want to feel like you have the position exactly the way you want to every single time. And I hope that helps.